Myth number 1, if a llama is pointing at a chest, that means that it will give a guaranteed mythic, right? So we have this llama right here, and it is legit pointing exactly at this chest right here. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what we get. Okay, bro, who made up this myth? Because that is absolutely cap. And that is just one of 30 insane myths I'm going to be busting in today's video. Let's get into myth number 2. Here we go with myth number 2. If you break a chest down to 1 HP, it will give some insane loot. So let's go ahead and break this chest down to 50 HP because that's like the maximum I could do. Actually, I could tag it a few times with the surge fire. So all right, now it is legit down to 1 HP. Let's see what we get. Another green bolt. Yo, they gotta vault this thing ASAP. Myth number 3. Apparently, if you use a crash pad as well as balloons with flowberry fizz as well as regular flowberries, you will straight up go flying. So let me go ahead and find a spot where I can successfully do this. Now, bro, if this ends up working, I genuinely will have to utilize this. Like, I actually think it has a pretty decent chance of working. So yeah, I guess we'll just do it right in this area right here, bro. All right, let's go ahead and pop the flowberry fizz just like that. And then let's pop the regular flowberry. Now, the issue is that I am going pretty high just by doing this, bro. We're going straight down, so I'm just going to throw that right there. Let me angle this. Pop the fizz right now. And then we're going to pop the freaking flowberries. And let's see if we actually start flying. All right, I'm gonna mark the ground. So we're currently over 100 meters into the air. We're at 150 meters now, and the flowberry effect went away. So maybe if you keep on popping the flowberry effect, you can go even higher, but that myth is confirmed. Myth number 4 actually also involves flowberry fizz and flowberries. Apparently, if you pop flowberry fizz as well as use a flowberry and pop 2 balloons and then use a flint knock pistol, you keep on using it, you can fly forever. Yes, fly forever. So I guess we're gonna try that here. Let me actually pop some more fizz. Okay, hold on. I'm going down, so let me actually shoot this flint knock pistol more. You know what? This myth is actually confirmed. You do go flying forever. You just have to keep on maintaining your fizz as well as the flint knock pistol. For myth number 5, apparently if you drop all of your loot in front of a chest, you will get some insane loot. So let's go ahead and drop literally everything, including ammo and mats. And here we go, bro. If I get another bolt action sniper, that will be insane. A blue tack, I mean, that's not necessarily insane loot, so yeah, that myth is false. For myth number 6, we're gonna be seeing if balloons can save me from fall damage. So we're pretty high up right now. I would normally die to fall damage, but let's see if these save me. Okay, they indeed do not save you, but I think if you pop 3, you may actually be able to get saved, but yeah, that myth is false. For myth number 7, we're actually gonna be seeing if jetpacks can save me from fall damage. So here we go, we're jumping off, and let's use it right now. And that myth is confirmed. Jetpacks do indeed save you from fall damage. The next myth takes place on the Slurp Rush map, and it is if you can find floppers or just any fish in general on this map. So let's go ahead and try to fish in this water and see if we can find anything. Like even small fries would work. All right, so we got small fries. I guess this myth is kind of confirmed. And we also got floppers. So yes, this myth is 100% true. You can find fish on the Slurp Rush map. The next myth is that can you find unreleased weapons on the Slurp Rush map? Apparently, you can find the charged shotgun and the dual pistols, and those weapons are exclusive to this map. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to see if I can find them. Oh, would you take a look at that, bro? We got a blue charged shotgun on the ground. So this myth, as of right now, is 50% complete. All right, and right here, we have dual freaking pistols, which means that this myth is 100% true. You can find unreleased guns on this Slurp Rush map. We are now on the beautiful Oasis map, and supposedly, if you land at this corner of the map and loot this chest without picking up any of the items, you will get a guaranteed mythic. I'm not sure, you know, how that would even be possible, but let's see what happens here. Yeah, a green tack is not a mythic, so that myth is just totally false, bro. Myth number whatever one this is, I kind of lost track, but if you pop fizz as well as a flowberry and then use the nitro fist, it is insane rotation. So let's go ahead and see how far we actually go. I think I started like right over there. I'm gonna go ahead and pop another flowberry. Right now, I mean, it's not looking like anything too crazy. I feel like you could go the same distance with a flowberry and shockwave play. So yeah, that myth is basically false. For this myth, we actually have a pretty interesting one. Apparently, if you grapple onto an RPG, you will go very far. So let's go ahead and do this. All right, and that is indeed true. Okay. If you spam the Nitro Fist at certain spots on the map, you will glitch under the map. That's what this myth is. I know that right here in the past, there was a glitch where you could go through this floor. So I'm just going to like put a ramp right there and maybe like try to phase through. Hold on, let me try to do this again. I'm not gonna lie, this myth is seeming like an L, so I guess I'll try to go under here and do it from here. Break these rocks, and then I'm just gonna place a ramp above me. This time like metal, and then I'll place a brick roof. Let's see if I can phase through. And yeah, that myth is totally false. You cannot phase through the map with the Nitro Fists. Supposedly, if you use balloons while rifting, you will break the game. So let's go ahead and see if that's true. Okay, I kept the balloons for a little bit, but no, that is far from being true. So if you use a purple slurp and a gold slurp juice together, apparently you begin to heal at an extremely fast rate. So let's go ahead and pop the purple slurp juice first. Let's see how fast we're healing. All right, so it's like 2 HP per second. Then let's pop the gold slurp. All right, this is actually a true myth, bro. We are gaining health at a very fast rate. Are chug cannons very common on the Slurp Rush map? The answer to that is actually yes. I got this chug cannon from a supply drop, and I've also found a few other chug cannons from mythic chests and stuff like that. We are now at max height, and you can see this entire and very beautiful venture map. We're gonna be seeing what happens if you rift while at height limit. As you can see here, we cannot build any higher. So the myth is, apparently, you go above the sky limit if you rift. So let's go ahead, check what happens. Okay, you actually just spawn below height limit. That's pretty interesting. Can you go above 100 meters if you have 5 Flint knocks while using Flowberry Fizz? I mean, this should be a walk in the park if we went over 100 meters without it. But okay, let's go ahead and see. All right, so you literally hit 100 meters on the dot, but no, you do not go above 100 meters. So that myth is false. If you hit your opponent with the Nitro Fists, will they take fall damage? Let's go ahead and find out. All right, so we knocked him down. And yes, your opponents will take fall damage if you uppercut them with the Nitro Fists. What happens if you use the super Launchpad at max height? Will you glitch the game? Will you go higher? Wait, what? The freaking super Launchpad disappeared before I could even do it. Okay, so I guess what happens is that the super Launchpad actually disappears. If you throw a crash pad at a Launchpad, apparently you will go double the height. This joke don't even work. Yo, this myth automatically is freaking disqualified because that doesn't even work. And there goes my last crash pad. Another myth is also that if you hit the launch pads with the Nitro Fist, apparently you'll go very high. So let's see if that works. Yeah, and that jug just straight up destroys a launch pad, bro. I am never doing another myth with a launch pad. This next myth might be pretty difficult to pull off, but if it works, it will be absolutely ridiculous. So basically, how this works is that you need to have a super launch pad, and then you need to use your Flowberries and Flowberry Fizz. Use your freaking balloons as well. Hit the crash pad and land on top of the super launch pad, right? There's a lot of steps to it, but if it works, it will be crazy. And already we're going up to 135 meters without even hitting the launch pad, right? Now we're gonna pop the Flowberry again, as well as the Flowberry Fizz. Here we go, dude. After so much complication and all that, let's see how high we truly go. All right, we're already up to 100 meters. That's 200 meters. And all right, it caps out at around 230 meters. You normally go 115 meters in the air after hitting a super launch pad. So that almost doubles that, which means that this is technically super mobility. That's a myth confirmed. The next myth on the Oasis map, can you hit somebody from a decent range with these Nitro Fists? So I'm gonna go ahead and try to stand here and hit this guy. Okay, the answer to that question is yes, you can hit somebody from a decent range with these Nitro Fists. I've actually never seen anybody test this, but can you rocket ride people with the repeater rifle? It is an explosive, so you should be able to technically. But yeah, let's go ahead and see if we can do this. That's attempt 1, attempt 2. Let me zoom in and see if I can do this. Okay, yeah, no, this myth is 100% false. There's no possible way you can rocket ride somebody with the repeater rifle. This next myth is pretty interesting. Can you grapple onto somebody that's using the Nitro Fist? So let's go ahead here and see if I'm able to grapple onto this guy. Okay, you actually can grapple onto somebody that uses the Nitro Fist. It's pretty hard, but if you're able to do it, it could make for some great clips. Now, for the 27th myth, if you land at Adobe Abodes, are you guaranteed to find a mythic, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and loot legit as many chests as I can possibly loot, and I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can find any mythics. All right, guys, I've been looting and looting and looting Adobe Abodes. I guess there's a final couple of chests here. If I do not find any rare loot from any of these chests, bro, it is wrapped, and it is not guaranteed to get any mythic. So final chest, bro. This is the last hope to get something, and all right, it is not confirmed or guaranteed to get a mythic at Adobe Abodes. Now, while I was looting, though, I did get 2 boom bolts, and basically what this myth says is that if you do a double boom bolt strategy, it is actually extremely OP and can destroy a bunch of builds. So let's actually go ahead and test it out on this like shed right here. Let's see how much damage I can actually do. There is like a tiny delay when you like change and swap, but bro, I'm not gonna lie, this strat is insane. Now this next myth says that if you dance after getting hit with a boom bolt, like the whatever clinger sticks to you will fall off, but I'm like 80% sure that this this boom bolt is actually hit scan. So it's like almost hit scan, but the bullets shoot so fast that it's basically hit scan. So yeah, that myth is a lie. For the 30th and final myth, apparently if you do the double explosive repeater strategy, this is extremely OP and it's very similar to the double boom bolt. So yeah, let's go ahead and see how this actually does like on this building right here. Okay, so one thing I've noticed is that you can actually shoot it a lot faster than the boom bolts, but they do a lot less damage than the boom bolt. So the double boom bolt strategy is definitely better, but I think if you're gonna do the double repeater rifle strategy in a real game, it would be really OP.